Yeah, we'll move on to rectification of errors now. See, from accounting point of view, we'll divide this errors into multiple types. First one is error of principle. See, we can call any error as an error of principle if you're violating an accounting principle. So let's say you're purchasing a building. When you purchase a building, it's a capital expenditure. So the correct entry for that should have been building account debit to cash. But instead of building account, if I debit purchase account, then I'm treating capital expenditure as a revenue expenditure, which means whenever you violate a principle, we call this as error of principle. So these refer to errors where an accounting principle is violated. I'll give a few examples here. If you treat revenue items as capital items and vice versa, this is going to happen. One more, like installation expenses debited to the installation expenses account instead of machinery. Now, installation expenses is a capital expenditure. And instead of adding that in the machine cost, if you debit installation expenses, later this item will go to P&L account. So because of that, unnecessarily the profit has to come down. So this is an error of principle. Similarly, if you're incurring any repairs to the building, now repair is a revenue expenditure, so it should go to P&L. But instead of debiting repairs account, if you debit building account, then unnecessarily building cost will come down. Sorry, go up. Which means these kind of scenarios where capital is treated as revenue or revenue is treated as capital is called as error of principle. Now, in case of error of principle, will not affect trial balance because only the classification is going wrong now. So instead of treating it as capital, you treat it as revenue item. But as long as debit and credits are matching here, trial balance will tally, which is error of principle will never affect trial balance. Now we'll move on to the next one. Error of omission. This is the second type of error. And this errors can be either complete omission or partial omission. Now, what is this complete omission? So can we say if the transaction is not recorded at all, it's called as complete omission. It's forgotten in the books of accounts. So if it is not recorded, this can be called as complete omission. And when you don't record a transaction, can you say debit and credit both are zero? And if both are zero, trial balance will tally. There is no impact on trial balance here also. So error of omission also, since no entry is made at all, there is neither debit aspect nor credit aspect. Therefore, there is no impact on trial balance. Okay. Next one. Error of partial omission. Now, how does this partial omission happen? Very, very important. See, we'll be spending at least 5 to 10 minutes of discussion to understand how a partial omission happens. Okay. Let's take an example. Let's say in accounts, normally we maintain 8 different types of subsidiary books. In addition to that, we maintain 3 different types of ledger books. Now, this 8 subsidiary books normally include sales book, sales returns book, bills receivable. Then we maintain purchase book, purchase returns book, bills payable book. And apart from that, cash book and general profit. In addition to that, we maintain 3 ledger books. In addition, with respect to these 3, we maintain something called debtors ledger book, creditors ledger book, general ledger book. Now, whenever any credit sale of goods happen, we record in a book called as sales book. If that item is coming back to me, any return of that sales, we record in sales returns book. Same way, if any customer is accepting a bill, that we record in bill receivable book. Any credit purchase of goods that we have made, we record in purchase book. And that item, if we are returning back to the seller, purchase returns book. If we accept the bill, bills payable book. Any cash transaction we record in cash book. All the other transactions apart from these 7 will come in general profit. So every business entity will maintain a different subsidiary book for a different kind of transaction. Now let's say We made a credit sale to a person called Mr. A for 10,000 rupees. And when we make a credit sale, this particular transaction I'm going to record in the sales book. So we take sales book. In the sales book, I don't pass any journal entry. I'll simply write sales made to Mr. A for rupees 10,000. The moment I record anything in the sales book, it means a sales account has an impact of getting credited. So since I recorded in the sales book, a sales account will get credited with 10,000. Now, whose account need to be debited here? A's account need to be debited. Now, since A is our debtor, now what we do? We open the ledger book called DLB, debtors ledger book. In the debtors ledger book, I open A's ledger account. Now I'll visualize the entry. What is the entry? A account debit to sales. Now what I'll do in DLB account, on the debit side of A's ledger account, I do the posting to sales. And the moment I do that, the entry gets completed, Mr. A account debit to sales. Which is, can I say, if I record in the sales book, credit aspect is getting completed. When I do the posting in DLB, debit aspect is getting completed. So if you simply record in the subsidiary book, but then forget to post it in ledger book, can I say the both aspects will not be complete? And when both the aspects are not complete, that is what you're going to call it as error of partial omission. Which is partial omission happens whenever you record a transaction in subsidiary, but you forget to post it in the ledger book. Is that clear? Now let's quickly go through different types of subsidiary books. As we already discussed, in the sales book, only credit sale of goods is recorded. Credit sale of goods. If I'm selling any asset on credit, it won't come in the sales book. It will go to general profit. In the sales return book, we record only return of goods sold on credit. So whatever is sold on credit, if that item is coming back to me, we record in the sales return book. Okay. In the bill receivable book, we record only bills accepted by the customer. Only bills accepted by the customer. If any of my debtor accepts a bill, I record in this book. In the purchase book, only credit purchase of goods. This is what we record in the purchase book. In the purchase return book, we record return of goods bought on credit or purchased on credit. We record this here. In the bills payable book, only bills accepted by us. So if your customer is accepting a bill, we record in bill receivable. If we are accepting a bill, from my point of view, it becomes bills payable. And in the cash book, all cash related transactions are recorded. All cash transactions, it could be cash transaction or a bank transaction. Anything apart from what we discussed just now will come in general profit. So like that, different books are maintained by business houses. Now let us identify in which of the following, identify the book in which the following transactions are recorded. See, purchase of furniture on cash, you're paying cash. And the moment the cash is involved, cash book. Purchase of furniture on credit. So though you are buying on credit, you are not buying goods now. What you're buying is furniture. So this will come in general profit. Purchase of furniture by a furniture dealer on credit. Now for a furniture dealer, furniture is his regular purchase. And when you buy that on credit, that comes in which book? Purchase book. Next, sale of goods on credit basis will be recorded in which book? Sales book. Salary outstanding, this is a adjustment entry which will be recorded in general proper. Sale of building on credit, you're selling a fixed asset on credit basis, so that should come where? General proper. Depreciation is an adjustment entry, general proper. Bills receivable accepted by our customers, so whenever it is accepted by the customer, we record in the book called as bill receivable book. Next, Bills receivable honored or paid by the debtor. Now the bill is being settled. And if the bill is settled, can we say money is coming in? So the money is involved, that will come in which book? Cash book. So like this, you try to understand in which book you record what kind of transaction. Now the most important discussion here, very important, understand all this so that error of partial omission becomes easy to rectify. If any transaction is recorded in the purchase book, so if you're recording in the purchase book, it means which account is involved now? Purchase account is involved. And normally purchase account will be debit balance, which is the moment you record anything in the purchase book, it means purchase account is debited. Okay. So whichever book you record, that particular account is going to get affected. Same way, if any transaction is recorded in the purchase returns book, then it means your purchase return account is credited. It's a credit balance now. Same way, if a transaction is recorded in the sales book, it means now which account is involved? Sales account. And sales account is normally income, so it is credited. If a transaction is recorded in the sales return book, it means sales returns account is being debited. If any transaction is recorded in the bills receivable book, it means bills receivable account is an asset now. So therefore it is debited. And if you record in bills payable book, it means bills payable account is credited. So that way you need to understand in whichever book you record a transaction, that particular account is going to be affected. Clear? Now let me give one more example. Let's say we made a credit purchase from Mr. C. So when we make a credit purchase from Mr. C, what is the journal entry going to be? Purchase account debit to C. This transaction has to be recorded in the purchase book. And the moment I record in the purchase book, it means a purchase account is debited. So can we say debit aspect is complete? Now this C is my creditor. Now we open a book called as creditors ledger book. And in the creditors ledger book, I open C's ledger account. Then I do the posting. What is the posting now? By purchase. The moment I do the posting in the C's ledger account, then the credit aspect will be complete. Which means you simply record in the purchase book. But if you forget to do the posting in the creditors ledger book, then what will happen? Debit will be there, but credit will not be there now. Which means for the entry to be completed, you should record also, post also. But you record but forget to post it, it becomes a partial omission. Clear? And whenever I do partial omission, definitely your trial balance is going to be affected. This is what we have discussed here. Okay. So error of partial omission normally occurs when a transaction is recorded in the subsidiary book but not posted in the ledger book. This will affect trial balance because debit and credit aspects do not match with each other. Now we'll move on to the next one. This is the third type of error, error of commission. See, this is a normal human errors that usually arise. So let's discuss some examples here. Recording a wrong amount. Can we say if you record a wrong amount, you'll do the posting also for the same amount? So that way the amount recorded, amount posted will match with each other. So can we say debit and credits are going to match? And since the debits and credits are going to match, trial balance will tally. So if you record the wrong amount, your TB will tally because your recording and posting will match. But posting a wrong amount. See, when we say we posted a wrong amount, it means you have recorded correct amount, posted a wrong amount. Can we say recording is one figure, posting is happening for a different figure? Since both the amounts are not matching, trial balance will not tally here. Same way, posting to a wrong account. Let's say we paid some, or let's say we made a payment to a person called Mohan. So the entry should have been Mohan account debit to cash. But instead of posting in the Mohan account, let's say I've done the posting in Rohan account. So because of that, can I say there is no impact on trial balance? Because in the place of Mohan, Rohan will come in the TB. So that way, when you post to the wrong account, TB will tally. Which is some commission errors will affect trial balance and some errors may not affect trial balance. That you should be able to understand. Next. Posting on the wrong side. Definitely TB is going to be affected. TB will not match. Balancing error. TB will not match. Casting error. Casting error is nothing but any totaling mistakes. TB will not match. Carry forward error. TB will not match. Okay. We'll move on. Next. Compensating error. So if you want to call something as a compensating error, there should be minimum two errors. And one error will nullify the impact of the other error. And because of that, your trial balance is going to tally. Clear? So these errors do not affect trial balance, do not impact trial balance. If you look at the example I given, purchase account is over cost by 1000. Sales also over cost by 1000. So can I say TB debit also goes up, credit also goes up? And if both are going up by the same amount, can I say trial balance will tally? And this kind of error is what we call as compensating error. Okay. So these are different types of errors. Now, I gave you a few examples. Try to understand, try to identify whether it will affect trial balance or not going to affect. First one, installation expenses are treated as revenue expenditure. So can I say capital is treated as revenue? This is an error of principle. TB will tally, no impact on trial balance. Next, purchase of goods on credit not recorded at all. Complete omission again. TB will tally. Purchase of goods on credit not posted. And when I say it's not posted, we have done the recording, but we have not done the posting. So because of the TB will not tally. So it's going to be affecting the trial balance. A TB will not tally. Recording the wrong amount. If you're recording wrong amount, you're going to post the same amount again. So TB will tally. Posting a wrong amount, TB will not tally. Posting to the wrong account, TB will tally. Posting on the wrong side will not tally. Any undercasting and overcasting mistake, any totaling mistakes, any carry forward errors, a balancing errors, in all these cases, TB will not tally. TB is going to be affected. Compensating errors, TB will tally. So that you should be able to identify. So the first thing you need to understand what are the different types of errors and whether that will have any impact on trial balance or no impact on trial balance. Now let us move on to different stages of rectification of errors. Okay. See, from accounts point of view, there are three different stages that we're going to discuss. First one, you have done the journal, you have done the ledger. Before trial balance itself, you have identified and rectifying the errors. This is the first one. So can we say rectification before preparation of trial balance? In this particular stage, I'm going to do that. Next one, rectification of errors after trial balance, but before final accounts. So trial balance is also already made, but final accounts are said to be prepared. The last one, you're done with your final accounts also, and you realize the error in the next accounting period, and if you want to rectify it, this is what we call as stage 3. So in simple words, stage 1 is before TB, stage 2 is after trial balance but before final accounts, stage 3 is going to be after final accounts straight away. And if the question is silent, normally we assume it to be stage 2. Remember, very important, that is what we are going to assume it. Okay. See, I'm strictly going to do whatever is I feel is personally important for exam. So stage 1 I'm skipping for time being. We'll move on to stage 2 straight away. Okay. Now here you are rectifying the errors after trial balance but before preparing final accounts. Now what happens? Since trial balance is already made, if TB tallies, well and good. But if trial balance does not tally, temporarily one account called as suspense account would have been opened. And this suspense account has to be removed once the errors are rectified. Okay. Now in this case, normally what will happen? Suspense account arises if the errors have any impact on the trial balance. Now let us take up few examples and understand how to rectify errors. Sale of rupees 5,000 to Virat recorded as 500. Now whenever we are doing rectification, we'll divide this into correct entry, wrong entry, rectification entry. Now if you're selling to Virat, correct entry should have been Virat account debit to sales 5,000 rupees. But what we have done, instead of 5,000, we recorded this as 500. So mistake is happening at the time of recording. So can we say there is no impact on trial balance? So the entry would have been Virat account debit to sales. Instead of 5,000, we recorded this as 500. So TV has not got affected here. Now when I want to rectify the error, can I say instead of 5,000, we recorded 500. So I'm going to record the remaining now. So Virat account debit 4500 to sales account 4500. This is how we rectify. We do correct entry, wrong entry, compare both and do rectification. Next one. Sales of 7,000 rupees to Rohit posted as 500. Now it is not recorded as 500. It is posted as 500. So can we say recording is done for 7,000, but while doing the posting, you posted it as 500. Now, what is the correct entry when you make a sale to Rohit? Can we say Rohit account debit to sales 7,000 rupees? You do correct entry. This one is posted as 500 means recording is done correctly now. And if recording is done correctly, this particular transaction we would have recorded in the sales book only. And since the recording is done right, can we say there is no problem in the sales account? So sales account level, there's no problem. 7,000 you have recorded correctly. But instead of posting 7,000 to Rohit account, by mistake, it is posted as 500. So recording is done for 7,000, whereas posting is done for 500. So obviously your trial balance will not tally. So temporarily, one account called suspense account would have been opened on the debit side for 6,500. This is what they would have done. Now, when I want to rectify this error, so rectification entry will be, can we say sales account is nothing to rectify because we have done it right. Rohit account, instead of 7,000, we have debited only 500. So I'm going to debit the remaining 6,500. So Rohit debit 6,500. And the moment I rectify the error, I don't need to maintain suspense account anymore now. So that suspense account need to be eliminated from your accounts. So we have debited suspense account, and to eliminate that, I'm going to do the credit. So the entry will be Rohit account debit to suspense account. This is how we rectify. Clear? Next one. Purchase of 8,000 from Mohan recorded in the sales book. So what is the correct entry when you make a purchase? Can we say purchase account debit to Mohan account 8,000. This transaction, instead of recording in the purchase book, straight away it is recorded in the sales book. The moment you record anything in the sales book, it means sales account is getting credited. And since you have recorded in the sales book, you would have treated Mohan as a debtor. So the entry would have been Mohan to sales 8,000. Again, trial balance will not have any impact because of this error. Now, when you want to rectify this rectification entry, I should have debited purchase. But if you look at the wrong entry, purchase is not recorded only. So we record it now. So purchase account debit 8,000. And in the wrong entry, unnecessarily sales account is credited now. That sales of 8,000 has to be reversed. And how do you revert that? Is a credit balance item. So I have to reverse that. I'll debit sales with 8,000. Next. To Mohan account, see, I should credit Mohan with 8,000. But instead of crediting 8,000, we have debited 8,000, which means this 8,000 debit has to be reversed. And we also have to get another 8,000 credit. which is I will credit Mohan account with a total amount of 16,000. Because if I credit exactly with 8,000, 8k debit and 8k credit will cancel out each other and Mohan account balance will become zero now. But Mohan account la I don't want zero balance, I want 8,000 balance, which means I'm going to credit with how much? 16,000, so that this 8 gets reversed and this 8 will get credited. I hope all of you are clear with this. Next one, sales of 25,000 to Mohan posted to Rohan account. Can we say correct entry should be Mohan account debit to sales? But instead of that, we have recorded as, sir, posted it as Rohan account. So can we say instead of Mohan to sales, we have done Rohan to sales. So the rectification will be Mohan account debit to Rohan. Simple one. I'm not writing the entire story. Next, repairs to building 5,000 debited to building account. So when you incur repairs, it is incurred for regular maintenance. So therefore, it is revenue expenditure. So the correct entry for repair should have been repairs account debit to cash. But instead of writing repairs to cash, it is debited to building account now. So they have written building account debit to cash. So what is the rectification entry? I'll record repairs now. And this building account need to be cancelled. So the entry will be repairs account debit to building account. This is how I'm going to rectify. Next one. Rent paid 2,000 rupees to Mahesh, debited to Suresh. See, whenever you pay any expenditure, name of the person is irrelevant. When you're paying 2,000 rupees rent to Mahesh, can I say correct entry should have been rent account debit to cash account 2,000. Now, instead of debiting rent account, what they have done, they have debited that to Suresh account. So the wrong entry can we say is Suresh account debit to cash. So I should have written rent account debit to cash, but by mistake we have done Suresh account debit to cash. So now can we say the rectification will be rent account 2,000 and Suresh account to be cancelled. So the entry will be rent account debit to Suresh account 2,000. See, from examination point of view, our main focus is on rectification entry. So if you're able to visualize correct and wrong entries in your mind, then you can directly write rectification entry in the exam. You need not show the correct and wrong entries there. Clear? Next one. Discount allowed account is over cost by 800. Can I say discount allowed is an expense? This expense you have done overcasting by 800. So can I say debit balance has gone up? And if you want to rectify that, debit balance has gone up now, that you have to cancel now. So how are you going to cancel a debit balance? By doing credit. Can we say discount allowed account is going to be credited? Suspense account will be debited. So the rectification will be suspense account debit to discount allowed. So this is how we are going to rectify the errors whenever it is done after preparation of trial balance, but before preparation of final accounts. Okay, we'll move on to the next one. Stage 3 rectification, where the errors are rectified after final accounts in the next accounting year. Whenever this happens, first what we do, we open a special account. Whenever we do stage 3, we open an account called profit and loss adjustment account. Now I'll tell you one simple thing. What you should do, you do the rectification of errors same like how we have done in stage 2. Correct entry, wrong entry, rectification entry, no change whatsoever. In the rectification entry, you see if you find any item that comes in either trading account or profit and loss account, replace that particular account with P&L adjustment account. So there is no change in the process. Let me take the same examples. Let's say if you look at the first rectification, it is given Virat account debit to sales. Same error, let's say we are rectifying after final accounts. Then what you will do? Correct entry same, wrong entry, till rectification entry, it's all same. Now in the rectification entry, if you see, can I say sales account is an item which will appear in trading account? So if any item appears in either trading account or P&L account, remove that. In the place of that, you write it as a P&L adjustment account. So the answer will be Virat account debit to P&L adjustment. This is for stage 3. Next one. Sales of 7,000 to Rohit posted as 500. So correct entry, wrong entry, rectification, same process. And if you look at the rectification entry, Rohit account debit to suspend. This is a personal account, not it won't come in either trading account or P&L account. So the entry is going to be same whether it is stage 2 rectification or stage 3. The answer will not change. Moving on, third one. Can we say purchase account, sales account? Both will come in trading account. So whenever you find any trading account item, remove that. In the place of that, we use an account called P&L adjustment account. Total of these two, 16,000. Okay. Next transaction, what is the rectification entry? Mohan account debit to Rohan. If it is Mohan account debit to Rohan, both are personal accounts. There is no impact on trading or P&L account. The answer is going to be same. Next one. Repairs account debit to building. Can we say repairs come in P&L account now? So remove repairs. In the place of repairs, you simply write as a P&L adjustment account. Okay. Rent paid 2,000 to Mahesh, debited to Suresh. Same story here. Rent account debit to Suresh was the answer. In the place of rent, we'll simply write P&L adjustment account. Last one. Discount allowed account is over cost. Now discount allowed is P&L account item. Remove the discount allowed and write P&L adjustment account. Which is wherever you find any either trading account item or P&L account item, remove these items and just write P&L adjustment. And once you rectify all these errors, total P&L adjustment account, how much is the balance? Verify the balance. Now, can I say this is like a nominal account? And finally, when you find the balance, if it is having credit balance, it's like a profit, add to the capital. If you get any debit balance, it's like a loss minus from capital. So that's what you're going to do. Finally, if you get a credit balance in the P&L adjustment account, it shall be added to the capital. If it is debit balance, we are going to minus from capital. Same examples, whatever I've given, I've discussed all this. Okay. This is how you do stage 3 rectification. Now, with this, we have completed the entire concept of rectification of errors. Okay, in the next few minutes, we'll try to solve few questions from ICA study module. Okay, and for these questions, before listening to the entire discussion, I would want you guys to try correct entry, wrong entry, and rectification entry and understand your testing. Thank you so much. We'll try to do few questions from ICA study module. The following entries were found in the books of Ram Prasad and Sons. Give the necessary entries to rectify them. 500 rupees paid for purchase of furniture has been charged to ordinary purchase account. So can we say correct entry should have been furniture to cash. It is recorded as purchases account debit to cash. So the rectification entry will be furniture account debit to purchase account has to be cancelled. 500 rupees. This will be the rectification entry. Next one. Repairs were made and debited to building account. When you incur repairs, it should have been repairs to cash. But it is recorded as a building account debit to cash unnecessarily. So the rectification should have been repairs debit and that building value has to reduce. So repairs account debit to building 50 rupees. Next. Amount of 100 withdrawn by the proprietor for his personal use has been debited to trade expenses account. So when you withdraw the money for personal use, correct entry should have been drawings account debit to cash. But instead of debiting drawings, it was debited to trade expenses account. So can we say wrong entry will be trade expenses account debit to cash. So what will be the rectification entry? Can we say drawings need to be debited and trade expense need to be cancelled. So drawings account debit to trade expenses will be the rectification entry. 100 rupees paid for rent debited to landlord account. When we pay rent, correct entry should be rent account debit to cash. But instead of debiting rent, it is debited to landlord account. So can we say wrong entry will be landlord account debit to cash. So rectification entry is going to be rent account need to be debited and landlord account need to be cancelled. So rent account debit to landlord. Next one. Salary of rupees 125 paid to the clerk has been debited to his personal account. So when you pay salary, can we say correct entry should have been salary account debit to cash. But instead of debiting salary, it is debited to his personal account. So the wrong entry would be clerk account debit to cash. So what is the rectification now? Can we say salary need to be debited now and clerk account need to be cancelled. So salary account debit to clerk account. Next one. 100 rupees received from Shah & Co has been wrongly entered as from Shah & Co. This is posted to the wrong account. Just change in the spelling here. When we got money, correct entry should have been cash account debit to SHAH. But instead of writing that, wrong entry is cash account debit to SHAW. So can we say instead of crediting SHAH, they have credited SHAW. So this need to be cancelled now first. How do you cancel that? Debit Shah account and credit Shah account. Can I say AW debit, AH credit? 100 rupees, 100 rupees. Next one. 700 rupees paid in cash for a typewriter is charged to office expense. So if you're buying a typewriter, can we say this an asset for you? So correct entry should have been typewriter account debit to cash or office equipment account debit to cash. But instead of debiting typewriter, it was debited to office expense. So can we say wrong entry would have been office expense account debit to cash. So now the rectification will be typewriter will be debited now and office expenses will be cancelled. Typewriter account debit to office expense will be rectification entry. Next one. Give journal entries to rectify the following. A purchase of goods from ROM amounting to 150 has been wrongly entered through sales book. So can we say correct entries purchase account debit to ROM 150. Instead of recording that in the purchase book, it was recorded wrongly in the sales book. So can we say wrong entry will be ROM account debit to sales. Now the rectification entry will be purchase account I'm supposed to debit with 150, debit that. Purchase 150. Sales account got unnecessarily created now, which is a mistake. So how do you cancel that sales? Debit that also. So purchase 150, sales also 150. To ROM account, totally I need to credit 300 because this 150 need to be credited. This 150 need to be cancelled. So totally ROM account will be created with 300. Clear? Next one. A credit sale of goods amounting to 120 to Ramesh has been wrongly passed in the purchase book. I'll not be explaining this. Can we simply say correct entry should be Ramesh account debit to sales 120. But instead of writing in sales, they have recorded in the purchase book. So wrong entry would have been purchase account debit to Ramesh 120 120. So now the rectification will be Ramesh account totally I need to debit this 120. I need to cancel this 120. So Ramesh will be debited with 240. To sales 120 and cancel this purchase to purchase 120. Okay. Next one. On 31st December 2020, goods of the value 300 were returned by Harisaran. This is sales return. Inventory was taken, but no entry was made. A very simple one. Is an error of complete omission. Now you record that. And what is the entry for sales return? Can we say sales returns account debit 300? And these goods are returned by whom? Our customer by name Harisaran. So the entry will be sales returns account debit to Harisaran will be rectification entry straight away. Next one. An amount of 200 due from Mahesh Chand, which was written off as a bad debt in the previous year, was unexpectedly recovered. However, it's posted to the personal account of Mahesh Chand. So can we say this is a clear case of bad debt recovered? And when a bad debt is recovered, correct entry should have been cash account debit to bad debt recovered 200. But what they have done, this was posted to the personal account of Mahesh Chand. So recording, there is no problem. In cash account they have recorded, but instead of posting to bad debt recovered account, it was posted to whose account? Mahesh Chand account 200. Can we say that now rectification will be this Mahesh Chand account I need to cancel. So debit Mahesh Chand to bad debt recovered has to be credited now. So Mahesh Chand account debit to bad debt recovered 200, 200. Okay, this is how I'm going to rectify this. Next one. A check of 100 rupee received from Manmohan was dishonored and had been posted to the debit of sales return account. See, we got a check from Manmohan. Can we say the correct entry is bank account debit to Manmohan? That check was dishonored. So what is the dishonor entry? Can we say reverse entry? So the entry for dishonor should have been Manmohan account debit to bank account. But what they have done, this has been posted to the debit of sales returns account. So instead of posting to the debit of Manmohan account, they have posted to the debit of sales returns account. So can we say the wrong entry will be sales return account debit to bank. So there's no problem in recording. So bank account is done correctly. But while posting, instead of Manmohan, they posted to sales return. So now rectification entry will be Manmohan account debit and cancel the returns. Manmohan account debit to sales returns. Clear? Okay, this is how we are going to do rectification of errors. Yeah, we'll move on to the next question. Correct the following errors found in the books of Mr. Dutt. The trial balance was having a 493 excess credit. So can we say if TB is having 493 excess on the credit side, suspense account will be having a debit balance of 3493 because I'll put down whichever side is lower now. Okay. The difference is posted to suspense account. So 493 debit will be there. Okay. The amount of 100 was received from Das on 31st December had been omitted to record. Now you record. So rectification will be straight away cash account debit to Das. Next one. The total of return inward, that is nothing but sales return book, has been under cost 100 rupees short. So sales return is a debit balance. 100 rupees you have taken less. Now we want to increase it. And how do you increase a debit balance item? By debiting once again. So can we say the rectification will be sales return account debit to suspense account 100. Next one. The purchase of an office table costing 300 is passed through the purchase book. So when you purchase an office table, you should have debited office table account. But instead of that, they have recorded in the purchase book. So instead of office table, they have debited purchase. Now can we say the rectification will be office table account debit to purchases. Purchase need to be reversed. 300. Next one. Rupees 375 paid for wages to workmen for making showcase. Now can I say there's a furniture and fittings. So any wages paid to the workmen for making showcases should be added in the cost of the showcase. But instead of that, they have debited wages account. So can we say correct entry should have been showcase account debit to cash. But instead of that, they have recorded wages account debit to cash. So the rectification entry will be showcase need to be debited, wages need to be reversed. So showcase account debit to wages 375. Next one. A purchase of 67 rupee had been posted to the trade payables account as 60. Okay, important one. You made a purchase of 67. So can we say correct entry should have been purchase account debit to creditor, also called trade payable 67, has been posted to the trade payable account as 60. So the mistake is happening at the time of posting. So can we say recording is done correctly in the purchase book? So the wrong entry would be purchase account வந்து 67 rupee. Recording is done correctly. But while posting to the trade payables account, it is posted as 60. Because of that, TB would not tally. So they would have opened suspense account for 7 rupees. This will be the wrong entry. Is that clear? Now rectification will be purchase suspense account need to be cancelled now. So debit suspense account 7 rupee. And trade payable, instead of 67, you have done only 60 now. So the balance 7 rupees I'm going to credit now. So rectification will be suspense account debit to trade payables account. Next one. A check of rupees 200 received from PC Joshi has been dishonored. You got a check from Joshi. So correct entry will be bank to Joshi. If it is dishonored, correct entry should have been Joshi account debit to bank 200. This is the correct entry. It is passed to the debit of allowances account. So instead of Joshi account, it is posted to the debit of allowances account. So wrong entry will be allowances account debit to bank. It should have been Joshi to bank. We have done allowances to bank. So the rectification entry will be Joshi account debit to allowances. Okay, 200 rupees. Next one. 1000 rupees paid for purchase of a motorcycle has been charged to the miscellaneous expense account. So correct entry should have been motorcycle to cash, but they have written miscellaneous expense account debit to cash. So rectification should be motorcycle account debit to miscellaneous expenses 1000 rupees. Next one. Goods amounting to 100 had been returned by the customer, taken into the inventory, but no entry was made for that. So sales return unrecorded, and now you record it. So the entry for sales return would be sales return account debit to customers or debtor 100 rupees. Next one. A sale of 200 to Singh and Co was wrongly credited to their account. Entry was made correctly in the sales book. Okay, this one looks interesting. Now you made a credit sale. So what is the correct entry? Singh and Co. Two sales, 200. It is wrongly credited to their account. So instead of debiting Singh account, they have credited Singh account for 200. And entry was made correctly in the sales book. Since entry was made correctly in the sales book, and I say sales account is also correctly recorded for 200. So sales also credited, Singh also credited. TB would not tally, so they would have opened suspense account temporarily for 400 rupees. This will be the wrong entry. Okay. Now the rectification will be sales account. There is no problem at all. Singh account need to be debited. 200 to be debited here, 200 to be cancelled. So can I say totally Singh will be debited with 400, and suspense account is not required anymore. So Singh account debit to suspense 400. Okay, this is how we do the rectification. Next, we'll move on to the next question. See, all these questions I've taken from ICA study module only. So you can just keep the material with you and just verify whatever questions I'm doing and work out. The following errors affecting the year 2020 was detected. First one. Sale of furniture is treated as sale of goods. See, when you sell the furniture, the entry should have been cash account debit to furniture. Instead of that, they have written as cash account debit to sales. So unnecessarily sales account got credited. And how do you reverse that sales? Debit sales. And since the furniture is going out, credit furniture. So sales account debit to furniture. This will be the rectification 150. Next one. Receipt of 500 from Ram Mohan credited to Shyam Sundar. So when you get money from Ram Mohan, entry should have been cash account debit to Ram Mohan. It is credited to Shyam Sundar. So cash account to Shyam Sundar. So can we say rectification will be Shyam Sundar need to be cancelled to Ram Mohan. Shyam Sundar to Ram Mohan 500 rupees. Next one. Goods worth 100 rupees bought from Mohan Narain have remained unrecorded. It's like an unrecorded purchases. And what is the entry when you make a purchase? Purchase account debit to Mohan 100. Fourth one, a return of 120 from Mukesh posted to his debit. A return from Mukesh, can we say is a sales return? So correct entry should be sales return account debit to Mukesh 120. It is posted to his debit. So the mistake is happening in the posting stage. Recording is done correctly. Since recording is done correctly, sales return account correctly recorded with 120. Instead of posting to the credit of Mukesh, they have posted to the debit of Mukesh. So Mukesh also got debited with 120. So the TB will not tally. So suspense account would have been opened for 240 rupees. This will be the wrong entry. Now what will be the rectification? Cancel suspense account 240. Sales return, there's no problem whatsoever. Mukesh account credit 240. So suspense account debit to Mukesh 240 will be rectification entry. Okay. Next one is also important. A return of 90 to Sham Sundar posted as 9 in his account. So there is a purchase return that you are doing. So can we say the correct entry is Sham Sundar account debit to purchase return 90. This is posted as 9 in his account. So the mistake is happening in Sham Sundar account and not purchase return account. So can we say wrong entry will be Sham Sundar 9. Suspense account 81 to purchase return 90. This will be the wrong entry. So rectification will be Sham Sundar debit 81, cancel suspense 81. Next one. Rent of proprietor's residence. So can I say is a personal expense drawings to be debited? But it's debited to rent account. So instead of writing drawings account debit to cash, it was written rent account debit to cash. So can we say rectification will be drawings debit? And how do you cancel rent? Credits. Drawings to rent 600. Next one. Payment of 215 rupees to Mohammed Sadiq posted to his credit as 125. So when you made the payment, correct entry should be Mohammed Sadiq account debit to cash 215. It is posted to his credit. So the mistake is happening in the time of posting. So can we say there is no problem in recording? So cash account level, there is no problem. So cash account is correctly recorded. But instead of posting to the debit of Mohammed Sadiq, it is posted to his credit. So posted on the wrong side. And even the amount is different. Instead of 215, it's credited as 125. So there are two mistakes happening. You're posting on the wrong side also, wrong amount also. Again, TB would not tally. Suspense account would have been opened for 340 rupees. Now what is the rectification? Can we say cash account there is no problem at all. So Mohammed Sadiq account debit 340 and we need to cancel suspense 340. This will be your rectification entry. Next one. Sales book added short. So it's undercasting error. Sales has gone down. Now you want to increase your sales. Sales is an income, credit balance. And how do you increase that? Credit once again. So I'm going to credit sales of 900 and debit will be suspense account. So rectification entry will be suspense account debit to sales. Next one. The total of the bill receivable book 1500 left unposted. Okay. The total of the bill receivable account will be posted to the bills receivable ledger in the general ledger book, which is unposted. So now I'll record. So bills receivable record panala. Now you do it debit 1500 to suspense account. So this will be the rectification entry. Clear? Let's move on to the next question. Mr. Rai was unable to agree the trial balance last year, wrote out the difference to P&L account. In the next year is rectifying the error. So can we say this is stage 3 rectification? And whenever you do stage 3, In the rectification entry, if you find any trading account item or P&L account item, you remove that and you write P&L adjustment. First one, purchase of scooter was debited to conveyance account, 3000 rupees, depreciation 10%. So when you purchase scooter, can we say correct entry should have been scooter account debit to cash. Instead of that, they have written conveyance account debit to cash. So now what will be the rectification entry? Scooter account debit to conveyance. But conveyance is an expense that will come in profit and loss account. So instead of conveyance, we'll write P&L adjustment account 3000. This is first rectification. And apart from that, 10% depreciation should have been charged on this scooter. And since they did not record the scooter, depreciation also would have been omitted. Now you need to record depreciation. So what is the entry for depreciation? It is depreciation account debit to scooter. But in the place of depreciation, we'll write P&L adjustment account debit to scooter. So 10% of this 3000, so depreciation will be 300. This is the first one. Second one, purchase account is over cost. Now purchase is a debit balance. You have taken extra. Now we want to reduce it. And how do you reduce it? Credit purchase. But don't credit purchase. Purchase is a trading account item. So I'll write P&L adjustment account 10,000 rupees. Debit will be for suspense account. So rectification will be suspense account debit to P&L adjustment. Next one. A credit purchase of goods from Mr. P is entered as sale. So when you make a credit purchase, correct entry should be purchase to P, 2K. It is recorded in the sales book. So wrong entry will be P account debit to sales. Now what should be the rectification? Can we say purchase debit 2000, sales need to be cancelled now. Sales also debit 2000. So both purchase also debit 2000, sales also debit 2000. So both are trading account items. So instead of these two items, I'll simply record P&L adjustment account 4000 to Mr. P 4000. This will be a rectification. Next one. Receipt of cash from Mr. A posted to the account of B. You got a cash from A. So the entry should have been cash to A. You have done cash to B. Now the rectification should be B account debit to A account. 1000 rupees. Next one. Receipt of cash from Mr. C posted to the debit of his account. So when you get cash from C, can we say the entry should be cash account debit to C? 500 rupees. This was posted to the debit of his account. So the mistake is happening while posting. Since recording is done correctly, cash account, there should not be a problem. Instead of posting to the credit of C, it was posted to the debit of C. So can I say cash also debit, C also debit? TB will not tally, so I would have opened suspense account 1000 rupees on the credit side. This will be the wrong entry. So now rectification will be suspense account, cancel 1000 rupees. There's no problem in cash account. To C account, you need to credit 500, you need to cancel this 500. So totally C will be credited with 1000 rupees. Clear? Next one. 500 rupees due by Mr. Q was omitted to be taken to the trial balance. Okay. So due by Mr. Q, can I say Q is my debtor? It was omitted. Now I'll record it. So can we simply say Mr. Q account debit to suspense? 500 rupees. Next one. Sale of goods to R 2000 omitted to be recorded, not recorded only. Now I'm going to record that Mr. R account debit 2000 to sales. Sales is a trading account item, so I'll record in the place of sales P&L adjustment account 2000. So this is how we do rectification. Now just verify the final balance left in this P&L adjustment. Can we say 3000 credit minus 300, 2700 credit, 12,700 credit, 8,700 credit, 10,700 credit. So once you find that final balance, so whatever is the final balance, if it is credit balance, I'll transfer to the capital account. I'll debit that P&L adjustment account and add it to the capital, because credit balance is like a profit. So reverse that account and add it to the capital. Similarly, if it is debit balance, the entry would have been capital to P&L adjustment. So I think the balance is 10,700. Anyway, you just verify.